We are back with another Diablo Immortal video for you, and in this one, it is time for, well, another update. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess, right? So let's jump straight into it and see what's going on. This is, of course, going to be a smaller one compared to some of the others that we've gotten, because we just had, what, a few weeks ago now, our massive update for Q1. Now that we're in Q2, we got a little bit of time before we get our next major one. So fell vicious demons with new legendary items. New legendary items. There's a few impacts to this in-game, so we want to talk about that as well. So this is going to be happening on April 15th for Oceania, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and Europe servers, and then on Wednesday, April 16th for everyone else. My son's birthday is the 17th, which is the day after. That's awesome. So again, not a big one in the codex here. We got new legendary items and balance changes, iron stockpile events, returning events, featured events, and bug fixes. So new legendary items. Let's see. Again, I do this sort of every time. Which are the three classes that I would say are the most exciting based off these new essences? So first, we'll rank them, of course, first, second, and third. So Barbarian, shoulders. Sunder now jumps to a target location, creating fissures to the ground that erupt when you use ground stomp or leap, damaging and knocking enemies airborne. Okay, so it creates fissures, but they erupt only when you use ground stomp and or leap. Interesting. So Sunder, imagine basically jumping on somebody with Sunder, but then you have to jump again to activate it. And then how long are these there for? I don't love this because it sort of pigeonholed you into very certain builds. I like having free build mobility in terms of like just being able to create whatever you want for builds. But let's just continue. So Pants, ground stomp, now smashes the ground and conjures an ancient spirit that performs multiple ground stomps before disappearing and damaging all nearby enemies. Okay, so well, hold on. I retract my previous statement. So if Sunder can now... Well, if ground stomp is going to summon someone who's just going to keep stomping the ground, and then you can use Sunder more than once to cause that eruption of the fissure, maybe that would be kind of cool. If it's only once, it's kind of lame. Helmet, ground stomp also increases your critical hit chance by 4% for 3 seconds for each enemy hit. Okay, up to a maximum of 12. Decent. Crit hit chance is always good in the game. So ground stomp cooldown reduced by 0.2 seconds for each enemy hit up to a maximum of 1 second. Okay. Main hand, ground stomp. Wow, lots of ground stomp. Literally ground stomp, ground stomp, ground stomp, ground stomp. Now smashes the ground and conjures an ancient spirit that performs multiple ground stomps before disappearing, damaging all nearby enemies. What? So this is the same. This one is the same. Uh-oh. Fire the intern. All right, so the chest is Sunder also increases your movement speed by 30% and prevents their use of dash skills for 2 seconds. I'm gonna be honest, even not knowing whatever this main hand or pants are supposed to be, since those are the same, I don't like either one. I don't like this build at all. And again, I'm not a big Barb guy anyway, so like I'm probably not the target for this, but I am not remotely interested in that build. Moving on, so Blood Knight, a class that is dear to my heart, but desperately needs some either rework or damage boofing. So Helmet, transfusion also increases your damage, I just said that, by 4% for 3 seconds for each enemy hit up to a maximum of 12. Transfusion. Okay. When Umbral Lance hits the same enemy 3 times, within 3 seconds, it deals additional damage. All right. Transfusion now pulls in all nearby enemies, damaging them and granting you an absorb shield based on the number of enemies gathered. Okay, that could be good for PvP. Umbral Lance cooldown is reduced by 0.2 seconds for each enemy hit within 6 seconds, up to a maximum of 1 second of reduction. Okay. Offhand, Umbral Lance now throws several spears in all directions that return to you, damaging enemies in their path. Oh, if it was damaging and dragging them back in, oh, that would be cool. But it is, you shoot them out in all directions and that return to you. I'm assuming they still do damage in both directions. That's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty awesome. And then what was the other Umbral Lance one? Hits the same target 3 times within 3 seconds. It deals additional damage. Okay. Umbral Lance cooldown is reduced for each enemy hit within 6 seconds. I mean, so this combination is nice between the offhand and the shoulders. This one feels kind of irrelevant since it's talking about the same enemy, and this is AoE damage. And this wants you to hit more enemies. So there's that. Last but not least is Pants. Sanguinate now teleports you to a target location, damaging all enemies nearby and knocking them airborne. Wowzers. That is a really good pant piece for the Blood Knight. That is, let me move up a little bit. That's really good. I think this is top tier pants, pantalones if I've ever seen them. So that's pretty sick. Like again, like this combination is cool with shoulders and offhand, and the pants are really sick. But I don't know if that's going to make top 3 yet. Maybe I'll change my mind later. Crusader, who's in a really good spot right now in a lot of different ways, especially with a new PvP map. Crusader is just doing really, really well. So pants, shield glare also grants you a shield for 1.5 seconds that absorbs damage for each enemy hit. Up to a maximum of 3 enemies contribute to the shield. When the shield disappears, it deals damage based on its absorb value. Okay, I mean, that's a really good improvement to shield glare because at a base value is pretty trash. Helm, Fist of the Heavens now empower you with lightning, and when your next skill hits an enemy, lightning bolts will rain down on that location. Okay. Falling Sword now charges to a location, damaging all enemies at the location. Okay, so this combination of Falling Sword and Shield Glare is going to be sick because you can dash in and then Shield Glare. And you could technically even Fist of the Heavens before. So it's like to power up and then to go into a Falling Sword into a Shield Glare. All right, so offhand, Shield Glare now places you in a counter attack stance during which receiving an attack from close range will cause you to burst with light. Damaging and blinding all nearby enemies and increasing the damage they take. Okay. But again, this is counteractive. Like it's too... So you can't use the pants and the offhand at the same time because they're doing 2 different things. I think. It's interesting though. Fist of Heavens also increases your critical hit damage enemies take by 8% for 2 seconds, up to a maximum of 24%. If this is for all Fist of the Heavens, if that's for everyone, like if all party members benefit from that, that's a really good buff. And then because it's a shoulder, you could tailor that along with your banner and have like a really nice buffing Crusader. Interesting. Demon Hunter, main hand, smokescreen, maximum charges increased by 1. Okay. Helmet. Sentry now summons a rope turret that fires at surrounding enemies, attaching ropes and pulling them in. Affected enemies are unable to use dash skills and will be stunned if they move outside the target range. How accurate are these turrets is what I would say. You know what I mean? Like I'm just imagining a rope firing turret that has terrible accuracy. All right, so Sentry triggers a small explosion when destroyed, dealing additional damage and stunning enemies for 2 seconds. Sentry triggers a small explosion. So like when you summon one. This is what I'm saying. Like all of these are like not. So usually there's some amount of like an assumed build when they come out with new essences. These are like to help and or change existing builds, which is different. I'm not against it. It's just different. Okay. All right. So Knife Trap now summons moving traps that automatically attack nearby enemies, burning them. That's actually kind of sick. I like that. Damage dealt, but pants. I don't know what's good on the pants side. I haven't been on the Demon Hunter in a while, but either way, that feels like a pretty good one. Shoulders, damage dealt by Knife Trap to the same enemy within 2 seconds is increased by 6%, stacking up to a maximum of 18%. I don't think there's enough damage you get from Knife Trap to make it want to do this, especially within 2 seconds, even if they follow it. Smokescreen now throws a grenade at a target location, creating an area of dust that slows enemies by 50%, causing burning enemies to explode. Oh. Again, interesting combination where you can like have a tracking knife trap that follows them and then makes them take increased damage, but and then explodes. Like that's cool and all. And I guess at the same time, like you're like pew 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 pewing them. So I don't know. Nothing's exciting me yet. All right, so Helm, Shield of Zen also increases your evasion rating by 10% when active. That feels pretty good. Mystic Strike also, this shoulders. Mystic Strike also grants you immunity to knockback effects for 2 seconds. I feel like we get that enough everywhere else. I don't think this is worth it to have in its own essence slot. And we get this from more places now than we ever have. Wave Strike also increases your critical hit chance by 4% for 3 seconds, up to a maximum of 12%. That one feels pretty good too. Breath of the Heaven now deals damage to nearby enemies and turns them into golden statues, preventing them from moving or attacking. Once free from the gold, enemies will take additional damage relative to the damage they received as a statue. Wow. That's actually sick. Shield of Zen now empowers you, causing a mystic palm to fall upon a random nearby enemy when you use a skill. And additionally, conjuring an avatar of the sky after the 3rd skill used, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. Interesting. Wave Strike now slams the ground to damage nearby enemies and can be used 2 more times in quick succession. So you can be like, pop, 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 pop. Anyway, I probably peaked my microphone when I did that. But so far, Monk is going to be in my top 3. Okay. Necro. Critical hits with Bone Spirits trigger Soulfire Novas that deal additional damage. Cannot occur more often than once every second, and subsequent damage from multiple Novas to the same enemy will be reduced by 50%. Okay. Dark Curse now unleash. This is a pants. Dark Curse now unleashes a wave that damages all nearby enemies. It charges energy as you move that increases the damage of the wave. All right, so basically you charge up the more you're moving, and then Dark Curse now does a wave of damage to all enemies. Interesting. Offhand, Bone Spirits now draws essences from nearby enemies, conjuring a Bone Spirit for each enemy affected that rapidly orbits you, damaging enemies it passes through. Okay, so Bone Spirits now draws essences from nearby enemies, conjuring a Bone Spirit that for each enemy affected. So basically you're going to be getting an AoE damage around you, like a Bone Spirit sort of tornado, if you will, it sounds like, and deals damage as you walk through them. So that's good for farming. Shoulders, Bone Spikes, shatter enemy armor. Okay, shatters enemy armor, increases the damage they take by 4% for 3 seconds, up to a maximum of 12. Okay, I mean, that's just good. That's solid. Dark Curse, which is a chest piece, also pulls in enemies hit, but cannot occur more often than once every 6 seconds to the same enemy. Okay. So this is now going to explode and deal damage, and does more damage the more you let it charge, but then will also pull in nearby enemies. Okay, so last, Helm Spikes. I'm sorry, it's a helmet. Bone Spikes now grants you a mount. What? Increases your movement speed and make you immune to knockback effects. Your mount damages and knocks back enemies as it moves. So wait a minute. Wait, so your helm gives you a mount, and this is going to make it so your mount is shattering enemy armor. Wow. If you can get 100% uptime on this mount, who needs to be a Crusader when you could be a Necro? Oh my gosh. Okay, that's sick. That's okay. Necro's definitely up there. I'm going to put Necro at number 2 for now, Monk at number 3. All right, Tempest. Tide Breaker's main hand. Riptide increases your damage done by 4% for 3 seconds for each enemy hit, up to a maximum of 12%. Okay. Sure. Offhand, when Blade Dance hits an enemy, it applies Wind Shackles for 3 seconds, dealing additional damage for every 5 seconds the enemy receives. Riptide chest piece now surrounds you and your Zephyrs with swirling tides, continually damaging all nearby enemies. Okay. Riptide now surrounds you and your Zephyrs with swirling tides. That's actually sick. And I'm trying to remember what the other one is that Tempest had that did AoE damage like that. Is it the same or is it different? All right, so going down to Pants, Breaker now makes you untargetable as you dash on a wave. Oh, Jesus, here we go again. Damaging enemies along your path and conjuring a Zephyr. Breaker now makes you untargetable as you dash on a wave. All right, so that's obviously really good for PvP. Helmet. Blade Dance now pulls all nearby enemies to you and prevents them from using dash skills. That's actually kind of sick because you're like pulling them in, but also making it so they can't escape you right away. Shoulders. Breaker cooldown is reduced by 1 second for every enemy you damage, up to a maximum of 3 seconds. So this is making you untargetable, and then you get basically a potential reset or a decrease of time on it. That's sick. I like Tempest. All right, so again, that's not like a wow. Like this is just going to be this is like just improving builds for Tempest, but that sounds strong. Wizard, who is obviously my bae. Main hand. Each time you use a skill, your next magic missile turns into a flaming missile if cast within 5 seconds, which explodes on impact to deal additional damage to nearby enemies. You can accumulate up to 3 flaming missiles. So this could be good with like the cast as fast as you can wizard build, where you're just basically spamming all your abilities as fast as you can, but then like if you're using a mouse and keyboard, you're like and then clicking. So this could be really, really good from like a raid build. And this kind of just builds right into the existing build, which depending on how much damage this does, I guess we should say that. Okay, I like that. Offhand, ice armor instead radiates with fire. It's like quite literally the opposite of what ice armor should be. So we have ice armor that does electricity, we have ice armor obviously does ice, and now we have ice armor that does fire, burning nearby enemies and increasing your critical hit chance against burning enemies. Dang, are we getting a flame wizard? A fire mage? Oh boy. Those of you that don't know, when I played World of Warcraft with my wife, I was a huge fire mage fan. All those crits, nothing but crits with big, juicy, what was that skill? I forgot. When you got crit, Pyroblast, is that it? I don't know, I can't remember. It's been years, literally almost a decade probably. But this, I'm getting vibes. I'm getting fire mage vibes. So it radiates, Ice Armor instead radiates with fire, burning nearby enemies, increasing your critical hit chance against burning enemies. I love that a lot. So Helm, Scorch now launches a ball of fire that damages and burns enemies along its path, conjuring a number of fire bolts to orbit you. Wait, what? Conjuring a number of fire bolts to orbit you equal to the number of enemies Scorch inflicted with burn. All right, so this is like a fire battle mage, it seems like. So you launch your fireball, Scorch. If however many people it hits is how many fire bolts that will orbit you. Interesting. And keep in mind, you're also going to have fire armor. And then, oh, this is going to be sick. All right, Ice Armor grants immunity to knockback effects while active. Fiery Revenge. Oh, we just didn't hit enter there. All right, so anyway, Ice Armor for the chest piece grants you immunity to knockback effects while active. Again, you get that in a lot of places now. A lot of different essences and or things are giving this to you, so it's not the end of the world, but it could be good. All right, so Fiery Revenge pants. Teleport is now immune with fire. No way. Okay. Damaging and burning nearby enemies when you arrive at your target location. This is all fire. I love it. This is gonna be sick. Okay, all right. I look. I told you I was gonna say the wizard for a while. I just spit on my camera. That's. All right. Shoulders. Damage dealt by Scorch to the same enemy within 2 seconds is increased by 8%, stacking up to a maximum of 24%. Now, mind you, Scorch is also going to have these fire bolts around you. Dude, it's a fire wizard build. Number one, bar none, is the wizard. I'm never changing it. I'm going to be a fire wizard for the rest of my life. I love it. So again, I think probably wizard, necro, and then monk. So in that order. Wizard best, necro second, monk third. It may be Tempest. Tempest could be a monk. Tempest seems beast. And that ranking is based off what I think is going to be the most fun for the record. What I think will do the most damage. Tempest would be above monk, obviously. So balance changes. Barbarian, Shackled Fate, Chain Spear, range reduced from 8 yards to 5. Flicker Stone, Hammer of the Ancients, energy generation from skills is reduced from 20 to 10. Okay. So nerf. Yeah, nerf to the barb. Tempest, Rolling Surf, blade range reduced from 8 to 6. Nerf. Crusader, the Yawning Rose Judgment, fall time of the Fire Blast is increased by 0.5 seconds to 1. So it's falling faster. That feels like a buff. Interesting. Baseline, Inner Sanctuary, cooldown is increased from 20 seconds to 24. Oof, nerf. Necromancer, Command Golem, damage reduction is reduced from 40 to 40 from 50. So a 10% damage reduction on the Command Golem, which is good. It's really good. Grimscythe, hit radius of the size are reduced by 33%. Orbit radius around the player is increased from 2 to 2.5 yards. Several PvP classes are overperforming in PvP combat, so we're going to reduce their damage potential to bring it in more in line with other classes. The changes are aimed around reducing lethality by adjusting range and frequency, which is Jesus Christ, to not affect their overall PvE output. Interesting. Additionally, considering the recent increase to damage reduction from range classes, we're increasing the defense capabilities of necromancers to bring them closer to where they were prior to the increase their baseline damage reduction. The following changes a bug fix for the newest Battleground map. Conjure of Light baseline cooldown increase from 26.1 to 29. Effect duration will be reduced by 50% if Conjure is used again within 16 seconds. Iron Stockpile event, that's one we have going on now, but apparently it's just going to go again from April 2nd. What? All right, well, it's just still going. Fracture Plane, April 16th. So whenever it resets, that's going to be the new event. Wild Brawl, okay. Returning events, Alley of Blood on April 18th. All clans on deck, April 19th. Adventurous Path, April 26th. Featured update, Legendary Gem Drop Pool changes. Basically, they're changing the pools based off of how many people selected the gems when we had the event on March 25th. So there's that. Mount whatever. And Darkwood boss timer. The world map will now display a countdown timer for the world bosses in Mount Zibazaz. In Darkwood, a broken clock may be right twice a day, but a broken sword can never strike true. Season 12 of the Challenge Rift will start on April 28th. Reliquary changes. The opening the Reliquary questline will now be available level 16, level 36. Changes to the Destruction's Call. We are making some changes to being placed in a match for Destructive's Call, which is that new one that they came out with in the last major update. You'll only be placed in the Destruction Call arena once there's enough players to begin a match, allowing you to continue playing while waiting for the match to begin. Additionally, Destruction's Call will now be available to help you get into other matches. Okay. Cool. I like this a lot. Again, I'm really excited for the wizard changes. Again, I was a huge Fire Mage fan in World of Warcraft, and I am about this build that's coming for the wizard. Cannot wait to farm it. If you guys can't wait to see it, make sure you like and subscribe. See you guys in the video soon. See you later. Love you. Bye.